Backstage Pass with Angela Pulverenti.
Welcome back to Backstage Pass. I'm with one of the bands, the new breed of Australian rock. They're called End of Fashion. Yay!
Yay for
You know who they are? They sing that song, Oh Yeah!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they were that band.
Oh yeah! So I wanna talk about it for a while. Oh yeah!
End of Fashion are Justin on vocals, Rodney on guitar, Tom on bass and Nick on drums. The boys exploded onto the mainstream music scene in early 2005 with the first single off their debut album called More charting singles followed as the band toured relentlessly around the country through the later half of 2005 and then headed across the US in early 2006.
So how's the road been?
We've been working really hard, like this year, and not just in Australia, but we started to do some territories overseas as well. And America's hard, man.
Yeah. So what do you, when you go over there, just describe the experience to me.
Overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because we come back home and we, you know, things are a lot easier for us because we have crowds that are really familiar with our stuff, and like we get to stay, even though we're staying in hotels half the time, we've been there before, so there is that sense of familiarity. But going back and starting all over again and being the first band on, and this is your backstage room, which is like a toilet, literally, and just having to go on and like impress all these people over again, and you know, you got your work cut out for you.
It's such a big country too, isn't it? It's just enormous.
Yeah. It never ends. Like we did a month over there, and we just did like this tiny little circuit up the west coast.
But how are you guys going, just in terms of, you know, you've toured here a lot, you're going over there touring, you've got to come back. I mean, has it had an adverse effect on you?
I think it does, because it just starts to wear you down. Like, you don't want people in your way, and you start to get like really finicky about things, and you want things done in a particular way. And I think that's all like just trying to formulate some kind of habit, so you got something that you can always like rely on, you know. And even like stupid things like the way your pedal board's set up on stage and stuff like that just like start to become really important. And you get home and you're just like, God, what a jerk. Why did I care about that? And like you hit this wall when you get home, because suddenly like you're not given just like something to do on this day then something to do on that day. It's not as segmented. Like you've got a week now.
Yeah, it's PTD.
Yeah.
Post-tour.
Depression, yeah.
Depression.
But now you've got like a week to feel like, shit, what do I do, you know, like...
When I first spoke to you a year ago, you're very ambitious, aren't you, Justin? And nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Ambition can be as positive a force as it is negative.
Yeah.
And it's hard finding that balance sometimes. How are you going with that?
I'm sort of more interested now in just making our next album just really good, like really solid #2 record. So, I mean, that's totally, I'm becoming a little bit obsessed by that at the moment. Like, whereas the ambition, I think, used to be a little bit more, shallow comes to mind, but I'm sure there's a better word for it. I think you start off as a kid writing songs in your bedroom, and then you sign record deals and everything's like, wow, this is amazing, we're going to be, you know, fabulously rich and famous. And,
yeah.
And then you realise that that is not the case. So you go back to being that kid in the bedroom writing songs and like, oh, this is where I was happy anyway.
End of Fashion is one of many awesome Australian bands that hail from Perth, including Eskimo Joe, Gyroscope, The Sleepy Jackson and Little Birdie. Now, not only do the bands know each other and support each other, they're all kind of related. Luke from Sleepy Jackson is the older brother of Katie from Little Birdie, who is the girlfriend of Justin from End of Fashion.
How did you first meet her? Was she doing what she's... Was she the lead singer of Little Birdie then? No. So you didn't have to deal with her on that level. Huh?
She was working at Hungry Jack's.
Was she?
Yeah. Kid in a uniform.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, who's that lady in the uniform?
But you know it's true, baby, you make me blue. I am lonely for tonight.
Stay tuned to Backstage Pass in October. Katie and the guys will be on the show telling us all about their new album that releases later this year. But coming up after the break, I play 10 Things with Justin and Nick from End of Fashion.
Name a song that changed your life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Backstage Pass with Angela Pulverenti.
Caught in a sea of rough diamonds, if that's not enough.
While we had the frontman and drummer from End of Fashion held captive, we thought we'd put them through the Backstage Pass 10 Things We Don't Know About You drill.
Name a song that changed your life.
What's that John Lennon song? Nobody told me there'd be days like this.
Good choice.
Justin?
Probably the theme song to Sesame Street. Used to go bananas.
Can you still sing it? I can.
Dun, dun,
Sunny
dun, dun,
days,
dun,
sweeping
dun,
the clouds
Clouds
away.
away, yeah.
I only know Let It Be.
Yeah, let it be.
Let her be.
Let her be.
Your first live experience.
Dire Straits when I was a little kid.
What about you, Nick?
I got up and played drums for the first time with Regurgitator when their drummer went missing in Perth.
Your best or worst holiday?
I've been to Bali twice and I got sick both times.
So that wasn't good?
No,
Cause baby, where are you? There's so much wanting to say when I get home.
What is your worst quality? What are you trying to tell me? You don't have any bad qualities, guys?
no, I don't
Pretty
think
much.
I do. I think I'm impatient. I'm really impatient.
Nick?
I just,
Overly lethargic, maybe?
yeah, really slow. Like
Okay.
a sloth.
I could love you, I miss you. Honestly, I can't resist you. No, I'm coming home.
Person alive or dead you would most like to meet?
A sit down and a beer with Jesus Christ would be interesting.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Name one thing about your life you would like to change.
I was better at answering these questions.
The last book you read.
Audrey Niffenegger, The Time Traveller's Wife.
I've read that.
How good is that book,
I've
man?
read that. That was really interesting. What was the last film that made you cry?
Actually, I was really moved by Brokeback Mountain, I have to admit.
So was I.
But I thought the ending went for too long. I thought there was like 2 or 3 endings in that movie.
Yeah, same.
Best text message you ever received?
You have 3 new messages on your voicemail. Somebody loves me.
She's love, she's love. Whoa.
What is the biggest issue facing mankind?
Mankind, man. That's the answer to that bloody question.
Yeah, we're killing ourselves,
Yeah.
man.
We suck, dude.
Draining the earth of all
Yeah.
its... Why isn't there water-fueled cars already?
I know. Well, there are. I think the government's holding that.
Yeah, that's what's holding us back. That's the problem with
All right,
mankind.
dudes.
Yeah, man. Down with the
That's
establishment,
good.
man.
End of fashion. We love it. Okay. That's it, guys. That's a wrap.
She's love, she's love.